What's up guys, Kyle here again, and today we are checking out the Chopper Z preamp pedal from Joyo. Let's do it! Big old floppy flapjacks! Alright guys, hope you are having a great day out there today. If this is your first time here at my channel, my name is Kyle, and what I do is I take all sorts of awesome high gain related guitar equipment. High gain guitar equipment is what I meant to say. I record it with a simple SM57 setup and I give you the unprocessed audio on your end. Pew pew. So if you're into E standard thrash, what the fuck? So if you're into E standard thrash riffs, drop C hardcore riffs, and dudes that sit in awkward positions for no reason whatsoever, you're in the right place. Consider hitting the like button and subscribing on your way out so you don't miss any more of my stuff. Thanks! Alright guys, so today, as I mentioned, we are checking out another Joyo preamp pedal. Today on the block, I don't know what block, my block, this street, that's what the block is. We are checking out the Chopper Z. And I gotta be 100% honest, I was already surprised by the Joyo Regal preamp that I just demoed 20 minutes ago. I was so surprised, in fact, that I didn't plan to do this demo yet until I got back from Europe, but I was kind of interested to check it out because I enjoyed the Regal preamp so much, so I plugged it in, and what do you know, I actually like this one even better than the Regal preamp because it's a little bit more classically voiced as far as high gain tones go. I was able to dial it in the way that I wanted it to sound, like quite literally immediately. All I had to do was twist a little bit of knobbage and I had it sounding like a very familiar, very good sounding high gain tone. So I figured, why not? Let's go ahead and shoot this bad boy too. So the Chopper Z, as you guys can see, is a preamp pedal, and along with your volume, bass, treble, gain, and mid controls, which are pretty standard, you've also got a built-in gate, which we were using. I have no additional gates on in the circuit, so it's doing a good job of keeping things quiet. And over here we have a different output mode. We've got a preamp, a power amp, and a power amp, not a power imp. A power imp sounds kind of scary. A power amp and a cab sim setting. So preamp is for going into the clean channel of an amplifier. Power amp is for going into a power amp. And the cab sim is for going into a PA or full range type speaker, or in our case, we're gonna put it directly into my PreSonus interface and directly into my DAW with no post-processing. None of this video will have post-processing. As a matter of fact, you guys are gonna be hearing the raw tones as they are coming out of the speakers. And for this demo, we are going into a Marshall 425A cab with a G12C greenback, SM57 on that greenback. I am using my Balaguer Typhon with the Seymour Duncan distortion in the bridge. And in the intro clip, we were going into the Blackstar Amped 1 100 watt pedal power amp. We were also boosting the Chopper Z with a good old way huge green Rhino overdrive. I think it sounds incredible. This thing is taking overdrives like an absolute champ, which is definitely not a guarantee when it comes to preamp pedals. We're gonna turn that off and we're gonna see what this thing sounds like without an overdrive. We are going to put it into the front end of the Mezza Barva to see how it sounds going into a clean channel. And before I get too far in the video, the price on this pedal, 70 bucks. And I also want to mention that this is a sponsored video. Joyo have paid me to share the Chopper Z with you guys here at Belligerent Amateur Studios on my channel. So feel free to take everything I say with a massive grain of salt. You would be more than fair to do so. But just know I'm gonna give you guys my honest opinion, as I always do, so keep that in mind. All right guys, so right now we're going into the Blackstar Amped 1 through this 4x12 cab. Let's hear what it sounds like with no overdrive out in front. I have my volume completely up. We are loud in the room and there's absolutely no noise coming through this cab right now. And as you can see, the gate grabs it no problem. I have the gate all the way up, so I want to pull that bass back a little bit. Let's get a little bit more mid, a little bit more treble, a little bit more gain. Okay, so you could hear just a tiny little bit after I stopped playing where we were getting some sympathetic resonances from the strings. It wouldn't be from here because we've got a muter, but back here, this guitar tends to do that a little bit. Let's go ahead, let's bump that gain up even more. I'm gonna pull the treble back just a tad because it was a little bit stringy in the top end, and I'm gonna pull that bass back just a little bit. The Chopper Z also has a built-in fat boost switch. Let's kick that on and let's hear what difference it makes. All right, so we've got more gain, more saturation, a lot more low end, some more low mids, and it definitely rounds that top end off quite a bit. So in order to combat that, let's bump up the treble, let's bump up the mids. And that is a lot of gain, honestly. We can roll that bass back some more. We can roll that gain back. So I think that fat boost is gonna serve two purposes. I think number one, it is going to give you a much thicker, much fatter sounding tone. So if you're going for a really thick doomy style guitar tone, high gain tone, kicking that fat boost in is gonna get you there no problem. I think the other thing it's gonna do is if you have a nice bright and clanky rhythm tone dialed in and you wanna kick this thing in for a lead, that fat boost is going to give you a more fat lead tone. It's gonna give you more saturation. It's gonna round off that high end so it's not as brittle. I honestly think it sounds really good in the standard mode with pushing the gain up, pushing the bass up, pulling that treble back. Seriously, man, this thing has no business sounding as good as it does. Let's go ahead, let's go down into drop C tuning. All right, so honestly, it sounds pretty good the way that it is, but I think this thing is definitely gonna benefit from an overdrive. Let's pull that gain back. Let's kick in that green rhino again. Man, this thing reacts to an overdrive really well. I'm really liking what it does. Let's pump that bass up. Let's pull that gain back. All right, so it's sounding pretty good. I definitely like the way that it reacts to an overdrive, the compression, the gain just gets meaner. See how it does with a 7-string though, and then we'll move into the front end of the mezza barba. Guys, that was the guitar straight into the pedal. Like, this thing does not need a boost. This thing sounds brutal all on its own. We have plenty of gain to spare. This thing sounds great, man. I'm really impressed. I like this one even better than the Regal, and I already like the Regal. So super cool. Let's check it out into the front end of the Mezza Barba though, see how it sounds going into the clean channel. All right, guys, going into the clean channel of my Mezza Barba Trinity. This clean channel is kind of voxy. Like, it's got a lot of mids, it's got a lot of upper mid grind. I think the pedal sounds okay through this clean channel, but I think it would sound better through a little bit more of a neutral sounding clean channel that doesn't have as much character. This clean isn't really a pedal platform, so keep that in mind. All right, so as you can tell, it's definitely brighter. It's got a big, like, clanky upper mid. Let's kick in an overdrive out front and see if we can't tighten and brighten this thing up. We're gonna go with the Boss SD1. All right, so not my favorite, but it definitely doesn't sound bad. It's a little subdued up top, but again, I just don't think this clean channel lends itself to the voicing. And even so, we were able to get the pedal to sound pretty decently good. So if you were to run it through a clean channel on something like a Triple X that's nice and flat and sterile, you could really get a super good high gain tone out of it. Last but not least, let's run it directly into my DAW. All right, guys, so we are running directly into my PreSonus interface using the built-in cab sim on the Joyo, and it sounds like this. All right, so far, I don't like it, but the range on this cab sim gives you different tones, so let's dial it up. All right, lots of mids on that one. It's just not doing a good job of filtering out that really like high top end of the guitar signal. It still sounds like you're kind of coming directly out of a pedal and not into a cab. Yeah, so built-in cab sim, I gotta say, Joyo, sorry, not a fan. You're still letting too much of the high end, like fried asshole, as everybody is now calling it, through the signal, but that is just my opinion. Let's see what happens if we put it on power amp mode and we kick in our own third-party impulse response. All right, so now we are going into the Get Good Drums Cali Oversized Vintage 30 impulse response with an SM57 in a 421. The pedal is dialed as you see it here, and here's what it sounds like. right, guys, that's gonna do it for me today on the Joyo Chopper Z. What did you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments. Really curious to see what you guys think about this thing, what you heard on your end that I did not hear here in the room. This thing comes in at 70 bucks. I will link down below. That will not be an affiliate link, but it will be a link for you to purchase this if you feel so inclined. Thanks again to Joyo for reaching out, sending some pedals, and sponsoring this video. I honestly had a lot of fun. If you want to support my channel, consider adding your name to this list of incredible people and joining my Patreon community. Everything that you guys put into that Patreon account goes back into more and better content for this channel, and I very much appreciate the support from you guys. Hit the like button, make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed, all that stuff that I am legally obligated to say as a YouTuber. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Kyle here again. We'll see you next time. You know what this wall is missing? Another amp. There we go.